Strathmore Lodge in Ward Road is a direct access residential centre which provides accommodation for 25 homeless adults from age 16, very often repaired directly from the streets and without exception experience times of crisis. Burnside Mill accommodates a further 20 adults repaired from Strathmore Lodge and elsewhere to follow a resettlement programme as an intermediate step to independent living. Moving there is a recognised and positive move forward.
The causes of homelessness are diverse and wide-ranging, though there are recurring and repeated circumstantial particularities, some you will find in this film. It is an issue disturbingly wrapped up in familiar day-to-day societal themes, not least amidst Dundee's changing landscapes. The challenges of reaching effective and long-term resolution are as extreme and various as individual issues and needs presented.
Life for service users is chaotic and difficult. Addressing issues, communicating with clarity and consistency, hard to accomplish. It is not conducive to articulate or even coherent engagement. That we do encounter this is heartening and often surprising. The following film is a prime and inspiring example. In the wider sense, a picture of laudable citizenship. Paul and Scott's stories told with uplifting honesty and eloquence.
Complicated story. Very, very complicated story.
Well, originally I come from here, come from Dundee.
Originally Dundee, but lived more of my life in Kirriemuir.
So part of my journey obviously is living in the Salvation Army. When I first come here, this is the kind of room that I got, and it actually wasn't too different from, well, kind of physically different, but space-wise not too different from the prison cell I just come to.
It is a positive experience being here. I don't care what anybody said, it was like the negative experience, like being in prison in here. It isn't like prison in here at all, actually. It's actually a really positive place to be because you meet a lot of people, all under different circumstances while they're in here. And it actually does open your eyes a little bit more to what happened to people. It's not just like one group of people fall into homelessness, it's every group. Everybody has different circumstances.
From then, I went up to bigger, better room, new improved, which is it's a physical place. Home at the minute is here, the Salvation Army. There's the front, Sally Army. Come off the methadone in prison. I didn't touch an illegal drug in prison, not one. And I come off the methadone, which was really hard. I got out 15 days ago. So I haven't been out for a long time, but I maintained that. I've maintained the sobriety. Been going to NA regularly, every meeting there is. It depends if you count methadone as a medication or a drug, but it's a substitute, isn't it? So, I mean, really and truly clean since December. This is me at my brother's funeral. That was 1993. And this is my friend from London who sent me the pictures up. Yeah, that was me when I was 27. Actually actively using then, but that day I'd managed to keep a bit sort of straight because it was my brother's funeral, you know. But he'd died for his addiction and that.
Because all my family was here, and everything that I had was here. No, my family was here, my gran and that was here. I wasn't 100% happy once I moved away from here. That's where my gran used to live. Yeah, in Waterbank, yeah. It's kind of weird coming back to it all again when you're just looking at it, like not being here anymore and just looking at it, it's strange. It's like the main wee area where I grew up, I went to school, went to church and that and everything, when my family all kind of went to the same church. Right, so this is the Fintry Shops. This is where I used to hang about when I was young. Didn't actually sit my exams because I got offered a job in the dairy whose milk I used to deliver on the back of the lorries. So up here in the summer,
At the top of this road is where we used to catch the berry bus. And at that time, I think Thatcher was in by then, so employment was really important. My dad told me, take the job, jobs are hard to get. Mum said, no, stay at school, do your O-levels. But I took the job. When I started earning money, my brother, who was a heroin user by then, he became interested in me. I started taking home a wage every week, and he wanted my money, and I gave him it to begin with, but when I was never getting it back, I wanted to know what he was doing with it. Yeah, getting up to all sorts of no good here. Some of it just childhood mischief, some of it highly illegal. None of my peers took hard drugs. When I was younger, there was a lot of messing about with hash and cannabis. And that quarry was where I smoked my first joint as well, thinking about it. It's not a great memory, but still, it's a fact. I had some really good memories here, brilliant memories here, and some bad ones. That's where I started using heroin. I took all my insecurities, all my teenage angst. I was only 16 at the time. It was my brother that introduced me to everything. God rest his soul. He got to jail and I was left on my own, and I remember the day after or the day after that he was at jail. I suddenly felt really ill and I didn't know what was wrong with me, and then I bumped into one of my brother's mates and he said, you've got a habit, you're addicted. So anyway, 17, got a habit, addicted, what am I going to do? You need to get money for heroin. Started stealing, got arrested, because I obviously wasn't very good at it. 60 days here, 4 months there, 5 months, 60 days. I got 60 days and then I got another 60 days and then I got another 60 days and I got 4 months and I got 5 months between the ages of 17 and 20. So I went down to London, joined up my brother, started using drugs there. I got arrested not long after. I was remanded in custody in Brixton Prison. I was 21 by this time. I spent 8 months on remand. I was getting to thinking that if I didn't do something about my addiction, then I probably would die. Kind of got my head together a little bit in prison during that time with the help of this guy, Charlie Snape his name was. Good man, good officer. The judge basically said he should be imposing a lengthy custodial sentence, but he was going to give me a chance to do this rehab, and he also told me if I didn't do it, I'd probably be dead within 2 years.
Nutshell, without getting myself worked up or upset about it, fell out with parents and basically said things to each other that really shouldn't have been said between your mum and dad, and not the mum and dad to their son as well. It shouldn't have really been said, but we just don't speak. I can't speak. It's just something that I won't forgive them for what they said, and they'll not forgive me for what I said. And this is my old street. Guys. I've been here absolutely years. Right there. That's it there. My old house. See the fence at the back there? One of them used to move. Well, 2 of them used to move. Used to people sneak in the quarry that way. Go watch football when it was on. See the house before we had the house, my parents had the house, it was my granddad's house. Hey ho, things change. Had to go. It was weird going, but it did happen. It was weird seeing an old house again, standing outside it again. Oh. Grew up in Dundee since I was born till about the age of 9 or 10 at St Mary's in Lochee for 4 years. What I remember of it was actually a really good school. It was actually a really fun place to be. Then I moved up to the countryside where everything just changed. Parents didn't trust very many people here anymore, so like, let us stay here. Didn't feel safe letting us walk to school in the morning and walk back from school at night and that. I just think it was just a safety thing in the end of it. They just didn't feel safe with us being here anymore, so they wanted us out of here. Eventually when it came to the exam times, that's when my parents finally turned around and started piling on the pressure. Got through my standard grades, fine. I went into my hires, that's when everything started to go crashing right around me. And I never done as well as I thought, and then I got screamed at when your results came through, because I got like 3 A's and 2 B's or something, and that was crap compared to that was crap. What they thought was crap, so I was a bit like, great, self-confidence, take a dive. Used to play with orchestras, but I got told to drop out that when I went to uni because you've got to do your studying. According to my mother and father, do your studying, do your studying. So I ended up doing bloody economics and politics. So I dropped out of doing economic politics, took up nursing. God knows why. Done it for 6 months, and then I got told to drop out because I got taken into surgery, not to see what happens when a nurse does in surgery. I threw up in the mask because the guy was getting a tumour taken out, and I got told to leave. Before I even went to uni, I went travelling. I went to Sri Lanka and I went to India. That was probably the best time I've ever had in my life. Biggest mistake was coming back. And I worked in a Christian boys' home. That's where I lived, a Christian boys' home. Where we were English teachers, your mentors, just like a big brother to them in the end. And that's what they all became, little brothers. Some of them were older than me as well, actually. So they were like big brothers as well. And I worked in the Buddhist school down at the bottom of the road as well. And that's different. Every single morning, prayer, without fail. You had to stand there, and it was actually amazing seeing it every morning. That was probably the first time I ever seen a dead person, because we went up this mountain thing that you meant to see, the middle of Sri Lanka. It's a mountain you climb in the middle of the night. It's all lit up all the way up. It's a big pilgrimage thing. You've got to walk up this big mountain thing. But the sun rises and you see the valley below. But the day before that, we went swimming in this. We're staying at this hotel. You go swimming in the river, and there was this business function up the top of the road, up the top of the river, and a guy went in the river drunk and couldn't swim, drowned. Who finds him? A lot of us that were sitting down there. We had to pull a dead guy out of the water. That was bizarre. Never thought that you'd ever manage to cope with that, but it was just weird. At that point I wanted to go home because I never actually physically touched a dead person, never seen a dead person pretty much like that. It just comes into your head how easy it is. Like just after one mistake, that could have been you. Just enjoy yourself, for Christ's sake. Stop getting so paranoid about yourself. Stop thinking about what everybody else is thinking about you, and just enjoy yourself and stop worrying. And that's where it kind of clicked a little bit.
It was during that time in prison that I realised, it's not necessarily a death sentence. I can sort of live with this, and I can, turn my life round. And I wrote a rehab called Phoenix House. So I did it. I went to rehab. I went to Phoenix House. Nothing had been organised for the drug using community, so we decided to do that. And we set up a charity called Mainliners. Worked my backside off there, like 8, 9, 10 hours a day for over a year. The charity's still going today, but it's kind of a bit different now. Eventually, my brother turned up. He'd been in Newcastle. He turned up on my doorstep in London. I had a flat in Brockley by then. And he turned up with a wife in tow, and they were both using. We've got nowhere to live. He said, please put us up. And I said, I'm not using, don't bring drugs in or any paraphernalia. But he did. And one day the pressure got to me anyway, and I started using again. And so I did that. I started using again, and just after that my brother died. And my gran died in the space of a year.
Enclosed in a jail cell and wondering why it all came to this, and I wanted to cry, but tears of self-pity were never required. I needed to change, and that's what I desired. Then I realised my choice is so simple, it's clear. I need to take charge and let go of the fear. The thing most important in any man's life, to provide for his children, it cuts like a knife. That my own kids have suffered, they took them away. But I'll make amends and believe that one day I'll see them again, sit them down, and then I'll explain how their daddy was lost for a while. This is my story, it starts at the end of years of addiction, heartbreak and torment. I've taken the road less well travelled till now, but it's all in the past, and I'm taking a vow to take any measures, recover my pride, fulfill my potential, and turn my life's tide. My life's back on track, and I'm fully aware of the still suffering addict who's lost in despair. I hope that my journey will help you to see that another way forward is yours possibly. If you take that first step and admit you're beat too, there's a way you can change, I'm proof that it's true. This is the story, it starts at the end of years of addiction, heartbreak and torment. I've taken the road less well travelled till now, but it's all in the past and I'm taking a vow to make any measures, recover my pride, fulfill my potential and turn my life's tide.
I met somebody in 2001, started thinking about family, and I had 2 healthy kids. I had a daughter in 2002 and I had a son in 2006. Inner city London schools were really bad, and my memories of Dundee was it was really family friendly, community orientated, you know, just a good place to live and good schools. And that was a massive mistake. I got up here and the place has changed. It got all recognition. Drugs are everywhere. Hard drugs are everywhere. Nobody's interested in treating drug users, really.
But God, when I started using, hardly anybody used. In Fintry there was maybe half a dozen, maybe 8 people. So it's just to blame. If you want to blame anybody for heroin use, the epidemic that is drug abuse in Dundee, it's all my fault, I'm really sorry. I will make amends. It sounds really pompous, but trying to change the way that drug services are provided in Dundee, because I think they're really, really static, and there's not enough variety, and there's no move towards abstinence or even detox, which is wrong.
Step 1 is admitting you're powerless over your addiction. What is the Narcotics Anonymous programme? We do recover just for today. It's the principles at Narcotics Anonymous. You do it a day at a time, and just for today. You stay clean. You don't worry about tomorrow or the day after. You just do it one day at a time. Other support, access to a place called Ad Action, which is kind of the only other support, if you like, in Dundee, if you want to stay clean. But had I come out of prison with a desire to use and needed some serious help, you know, this is 3 weeks down the line and I've not got an appointment till tomorrow, so God knows what we're supposed to do for the 3 weeks, you know what I mean? So
people are on methadone for too long, so I would like to make a difference in that area if I could, and that would be putting my bit back. I'm trying. It's come out for me. Prodigal son. Number 27, there is where my best friend Kev Fox lived. Number 25 was where Sandy lived. 24 is where Dougie Lamond lived, another mate of mine, John Riley in 23, and 22 is where I grew up. I can remember just feeling, wow, I don't know, life was good. Because this is Fintry, people are friendly. I had 4 or 5 mates just right around me. It feels safe, it feels good actually. And listen to it, it's lovely, it's quiet, it's like you're in the country, isn't it? It's just, I would love to live here, but it's not going to happen. Not.
Well, you're talking about a feeling, an ideal at home. It's with my children, trying my best to do everything that I can in order to try and get some sort of contact with my kids again as well. That's a huge motivation. I don't think, certainly not in the interim, in the short term, that I'll get my kids back, you know, to live with me. But I'm hoping that I'll be able to get contact and build it up in the sort of weekends and I'll just have them for the days and that. And you know, as long as I can be involved, I'll be happy. So my idea of future home is to be doing that, to be in my flat, to be independent, to be working, to be seeing my kids. That would be happy, very happy.
Sri Lanka probably changed everything for me in the end. Really. That was a massive thing for me. There's days when you don't get running water. There's days when you don't eat. And if you get ill, then pray. Because when I left Sri Lanka, we went to India. Indian perception is that we don't help the lower caste, and that's what they were seen. They were seen as the lowest caste because they've got no money, they've got nothing. They were seen as the lowest caste, and you're like, how is that possibly right? But that's the way it works. That's what they said. It works, and that's the way it works. And don't argue with it. That was pretty much the biggest turning point I've ever seen in my life. Pretty much was seeing abject poverty, and then blatant disregard for your neighbour, pretty much. I started the job as Citizens Advice, and took on doing pretty much only two things I like doing: my benefit and debt advice, and that worked out really well. Actually, I really enjoyed it. You get a lot of training, you understand a lot more about social security and how unfair it is. But that's what I liked doing, helping people. But then funding ran out for it, and that was it. The job gone. I want to go back to uni sometime, but I want to go and do something that I actually enjoy doing. So I'm thinking about going back to uni and doing law. It's just the financial side of it now I'm worrying about more than anything else. The time is kind of ticking on there a little bit. I mean, I know I'm only 21, but still saying 5 years is a long time to study. 13 weeks, 14 weeks.
Okay, so I was there from the 24th of March to the 24th of May. 2 months. You wouldn't have thought you'd take much away from your time at a hostel, eh? Well, last Thursday and Friday we were in Milton Keynes playing football, and that was an experience. That was good. It was the Salvation Army Housing Association / Salvation Army Cup. So I played in goal. It was just a really good, lovely, sunny, beautiful day. A really good experience, lots of fun. Yeah, I've moved from Strathmore Lodge. I've moved up here to Burnside Mill, which is a resettlement unit.
Which is pretty much 5 minutes up the road from Strathmore Lodge.
So I can buy my own food and cook my own food now, which is good.
When you get to do your own cooking, and you're just pretty much more self-contained than you were down there.
One of the managers down there is brilliant. It's been really great with me. As is all the workers down there. The manager at Strathmore Lodge is going to take me through to Perth to the furniture project through there to do some volunteer work there. He's going to try and secure funding for a part-time, full-paid worker, which he's penciled me in to do.
I signed up to do linguistics with the army. Depending on what language you studied, they'll send you anywhere and everywhere. It's the kind of thing that I just want to go back and do something that's worthwhile, and also get a bit of travelling out of it at the same time. I'm not 100% sure what the future holds for me in the end. So if I see myself being settled somewhere else around the world, it's not Britain anymore, doing translating, if I do well enough with it, that would be good. Anything I'd kind of like to work in the Middle East.
This is the first time I've ever been homeless. There's all kinds of people that become homeless. The Salvation Army supports the people that are there regardless and however, but outside the Salvation Army, the support for people like that is really poor, you know. In some sense it's there, but for the grace of God, and really the people that are like that should be supported and should be helped, because it's not benefiting anybody, let alone the person that's using drugs, for that cycle to continue.
This has actually made me feel like a little bit more honest with myself a little bit, a little more happy with myself. You can always think what you like about what homeless people are like, but not every homeless person is the same.
Who knows? Who knows about the future? My plans for the future, I'll keep doing what I'm doing. I do the volunteer work. My main motivation for all this was my kids. I love my kids and I miss them. And that's where I hope my future lies. I hope my future is one day and being able to see my kids again and have a sort of any kind of relationship with them.
There is shall rest beneath the sun. I'll drop the cross of self-denial and enter in that holy